Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show. Real talk, big opinions, and fearless conversations. From the front lines of politics to the latest in pop culture. From breaking sports headlines to the stories that move the world. Nothing's off limits, and nobody's holding back. Arrington Gavin is here to break it down, build it up, and keep it all the way real. So turn it up, lean in, and let's get into it. This is the Arrington Gavin Show.
Hey, family. Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day. Whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or the latest buzz, look, we're diving deep and keeping it real, so please do me a favor, kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join today's conversation. I hope you all are having a wonderful evening. On tap for you, we have a few conversations, a few topics that we'll be going over, like parental discipline, right? What is true discipline as a coming from a parent's perspective? Are you do you believe in spanking? Are you a timeout parent, or are you a butt whooping kind of parent? Also, I want to talk about, because I did not have time to discuss it on the last show, local elected officials, do they deserve a salary increase? That's your local school board members, city council members, and mayors. Do they deserve increase in pay? So we're going to talk about that. Also, wrestling legend Shane Douglas, the franchise. Shane Douglas was well known during his time with ECW. He's always been a very outspoken and vocal figure, someone who is not a fan of the McMahon dynasty and the WWE. And so he recently shared on a podcast how disrespectful it is to see one of his good friends in the business, and also just good friends in general, Kamala. Everybody knew Kamala, the Ugandan giant, who had recently passed. He was saying when he passed, he had no electricity in his home and he had no legs, and that's how he left this earth. What Shane Douglas is trying to incite is the fact that former pro wrestlers are not receiving the benefits they deserve from the WWE, a company that was sold for almost $10 billion. I believe it was like 9.4 billion to be exact. And he brings up a great argument, because we've seen this time and time again. The late Sabu, the man was wrestling literally his final days. The last time you saw him publicly was in a wrestling match, a brutal one that was, and I think he passed like a few days or a week past that. The big question is, like, at his age, why is he traveling on the road doing these road shows? Shouldn't have to be that way. So we'll talk about it later on in the show. And if we have some time, I do, which I kind of been easing off of this story, but it keeps on coming back to the social media space and to the, in conversations. And that's comedian and actor Drewski. So, Drewski recently did a skit impersonating Erica Kirk, the widow of the late conservative activist Charlie Kirk. And a lot of us are like, because he put, he did the whole mask thing. He basically pulled off like the white chicks makeup, had the long blonde hair, looked just like her. Well, obviously a little heftier than the actual Kirk, but the conservative right brings the argument. Okay, so if he can basically do whiteface, then why are we being hypocritical on the whole blackface thing? Now, people on the left are saying that, hold up, there's a totally different thing. This is, let's be frank here. So we're going to talk a little bit about it. I'll show you my take on it, and we'll discuss that later on in the show. Ladies and gents, I truly appreciate, as always, you taking the time out your schedule to tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. As you know, we drop new episodes Monday through Fridays, weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our YouTube channel, the Arrington Gavin Show YouTube channel. So if you have not done so yet, please do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can stay up to speed and up to date on new episodes, as well as just some of our content on there. You can also Listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. We're available on all major podcast platforms. You can also listen to us in your cars on the go through some of our radio affiliates. Shout out to WBOK 1230 AM out in New Orleans. You can listen to the Arrington Gavin Show weeknights at 7 p.m. Central Time. Again, that's on WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about. Then we're going to head over to Las Vegas to KSHP 1400 AM and 107.1 FM. Fridays, you can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show at 8 p.m. Pacific Time. And then lastly, WDJY 99.1 FM out in the Metro Atlanta area. You can listen into the Arrington Gavin Show weeknights at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So multiple ways you can support and listen in on the show. All that great stuff. We are truly grateful. The fact that our affiliates continue to help us spread out our audience. It helps us to grow our audience, get in larger markets and the whole 9 yards. So we truly appreciate it. What else? Want to talk a little bit too today more on the saga of TLC member Chili, who had come out with an apology and explaining her reason, why the awful post saying that former First Lady Michelle Obama is transgender, and she's, Chili speaks out and say, "Oh, that was a pure accident. I did not mean to repost that." But you was reading it and you did. So that whole accident. And look, I told y'all this was going to occur because she's on tour right now. Chili, TLC is. They're on a large tour with En Vogue and Salt and Pepper. So we going to talk about it. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more on the Arrington Gavin Show. Do not go anywhere and do not change that dial.
Every man has a story to tell. Your ambitions, your achievements, your legacy. Your suit should reflect that story, crafted precisely, designed for impact, and tailored exclusively for you. We work with only the finest fabrics, luxurious wools, silk, linen, and blends from world-renowned mills in Italy, the UK, and India. These fabrics are the foundation of custom suits that exude elegance and stand the test of time. But a suit isn't just about fabric, it's about fit, and it's about confidence, and it all starts with you. When you work with me, you'll receive a personalized consultation, whether in person or over Zoom. Together, we'll explore your vision and discuss your needs, and we're gonna bring your ideas to life. My journey as a designer includes apprenticing under New York-based designer Clavon Leonard, showcasing collections at New York Fashion Week, Algeria Fashion Week, and the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. That experience is what we bring to every suit we create, from weddings to corporate events and everything in between. We specialize in crafting one-of-a-kind suits for life's most significant moments. Dapper Luke has been recognized as one of Baltimore's best menswear in 2023, and I was honored to be one of the 10 designers selected for the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. With over 900 satisfied clients, we proudly serve Virginia Beach and Baltimore, bringing world-class designs to these incredible communities. We don't just make suits, we craft confidence. Your suit will fit your body, your style, and it will tell your story. Book your free online personal consultation today. Visit www.dapperluke.com.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to
And we still in traffic.
Don't look familiar, do I? Not in this seat.
Hey, what's that you listening to?
Here to host today.
Hey, turn it up.
With me?
Yeah, this that new GoVerse app. I got you.
So y'all want to know where the goats are? They're off on the sidelines.
Looking for fresh, relevant content wherever you go?
What was the name of that he said?
Introducing GoatVerse TV.
GoatVerse, that's what it's called.
The free streaming app that brings you the best podcasts, current events, and thought-provoking opinions all in one place. Download it now from the Apple Store or Play Store. In Goats, we trust.
Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Order our scented beard oils and beard balms to help you maintain and grow the perfect beard. Order today. Try our men's care products like the full body exfoliating cleansing bars, body wash, smooth stash, and more. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. We're your luxury but affordable men's care line. And remember,
rugged is the new smooth.
People age 65 and older are at high risk of injury, especially from falls and car crashes. But older adults can take steps to stay safe from injury and be independent longer. Tell your doctor if you have fallen, if you worry about falling, or if you feel unsteady when standing or walking. Learn more about preventing falls and aging without injury at cdc.gov/stillgoingstrong.
All right, family, welcome back to the show. Welcome back. So first, what do I want to bring up to you first? Let me, you know how I always love to share with you all these interesting studies and on, oh, did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? So before we get going with our show, did you all know study shows highly intelligent people don't need many friends to be happy? Is it just intelligent people? Because I feel like all people can be happy with a small close group of friends. Right now, me, I'm different. I'm a social butterfly. I do have my groups of friends. You know, I have my very, very, very close friends, and then I have different groups of very, very close friends. I have those that I've known since I was a kid. I have those that I've known since I was in college. I have those that I've known since I was been married. Like I've had, you all have build different relationships with different cliques and different groups that you cherish those relationships. But it says here that the studies exploring intelligence and social behavior suggest that highly intelligent individuals may derive less satisfaction from frequent social interactions. Instead, they often prefer solitude or smaller circle of close friends. Now, this pattern is linked to cognitive focus and goal orientation, where time spent alone allows for deeper thinking, creativity, and problem solving. As a result, fewer but more meaningful connections can lead to higher overall satisfaction. The findings challenge traditional assumptions that social activity always correlates with happiness, showing that fulfillment can vary significantly based on personality and cognitive traits. Now, this source is from the British Journal of Psychology. Now, I would say as a kid, even, high school, college, when you come across very intelligent people that think they're smarter than everyone in the whole world, sometimes they have very small groups of friends, or they don't have a lot of friends at all, because it's almost like they're not truly social, and they want to let you know that they're smarter than you, if that makes sense. Because I mean, come on, let's just be real. You have your cool crew, you have your jocks, you got your I don't know, the chess club group. You have so many different groups. Now, me, I was a social butterfly, as I mentioned before. I was friends with everybody. I'm like, I treat the CEO the same way I treat I treat the janitor the same way I treat the CEO, right? Respect everybody. There's no such thing as a cool group, a least cool group, yada yada yada. But there's some folks that you just can't try hard to try and spark conversation and all that other jazz. They just said, nah, no, I'm good. Like, leave me alone. leave me alone. And so I just thought that study was quite interesting. I come across these studies and I'm like, who really spent the time to? And it's there's some interesting ones. But I wanted to kind of talk a little bit more of the story about TLC member Chili, who found out that she donated almost $900 to the Trump campaign and other Republican candidates in the past. And so folks are like, oh my gosh, Chili is MAGA, what? And when this came out, it really came out because of a post she said she accidentally reposted, some fake, disgusting post saying that former First Lady Michelle Obama is not really a woman, she's a man. I'm like, wow, we're on this now. Okay. And so being that resurfaced, folks start to, you know how social media start, getting in like, oh, let's do some more digging. Oh, it looks like she is a Republican. Oh, it looks like she's donated to MAGA. Oh, look at the price more than once. And here's the thing, y'all, through time, you start finding out so many people. There's a large number of people that support Trump. Now, I'll just break it. Y'all just, let's break the ice here. Full disclosure, they support Trump. There's a lot of folks in Hollywood. There's a lot of folks, celebrities, public figures that support Donald Trump. Okay, that's just and guess what? And they're minorities. There's not all just white conservatives. Look, it is minorities, black conservatives. Okay, Hispanic conservatives. There's a number of conservatives that support Donald Trump, and Chile is one of them. And so when I saw this, I'm like, ooh, this is not a good look for her. Why? Because Chile is currently on a tour called It's Iconic Tour, along with Salt and Pepper, the hip hop trio Salt and Pepper, and In Vogue. And with this tour being so legendary, right? And music tours right now has been really increasing because of how the world is feeling, right? They want to go to a comedy show or a music show to just decompress and lay back and just be like, okay, this is a lot, this is too much. And so you have this happening, and folks are, cancel culture still exists. Okay, once they find out how you really are, especially in the world of music, like come on now, the musicians that like Trump are musicians like Kid Rock. Well, and then I guess if you count Nick Cannon, because he's also a musician too. But anyway, after I gave my whole spiel and my take on that story, I end up finding a clip of Chile responding to that. She made sure she posted a video and all this, how she's all sad and she's true about, because look, the black vote is what keeps TLC in business, and majority of the black vote does not F with Trump. Okay, so let me go ahead and play you this clip of Chile, basically explaining herself and apologize at the same time. Let me share this with you.
Hey guys, I wanted to come on here to address a few things that's circulating on the internet that's very concerning to me. Let me say this first. I have the utmost respect and admiration for Michelle Obama, and I would never say or do anything that is disrespectful to her or to any woman. I would never do that. And I had no clue that this repost had happened until I started getting phone calls and text messages from everybody. And I immediately went to my page to see what was going on. Now, mind you, I'm not very computer savvy, so I'm looking for this repost button. And I see that all of these buttons are very, very close to each other. And clearly I was scrolling and my thumb hit the repost button. Again, I had no clue that something like this happened until I got all the calls. But of course, I took that down, and, I would never post anything like that. I would never do something like that. That is not my character. I have supported the Obamas. I gave to the campaign, both runs, voted twice for him, and supported the organization that Michelle had in the schools for exercise for the kids. I would never do anything that's harmful or hateful to anybody. I'm just not wired like that. That's just not who I am. And when it comes to organizations that I have donated to, these are the things that support the veterans. I have always supported them, not just now, but for years. This is not something new. So I just wanted to let you guys know, this from me, that I would never do anything so disrespectful. And I would just never, I'm just not about hate or anything like that. You know, if you look on my page and see my posts, it's all about love, faith, and connection. That's what I'm all about. You know, and I've always been that way, and I will continue to be just that way. So I just want to thank you guys for, you know, your love and your support, and just taking the time to listen to me right now. I really, really appreciate that. And I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Scrubs. Like I'm personally, I'll be honest. I'll be very honest. Folks can get really apologetic once you start affecting their pocket. Folks get really apologetic once you start affecting their pocket. And look, Michelle, hopefully she accepted that apology. Technology is a mother out here. Technology, you can accidentally do, whatever. But here's the thing. She said she was scrolling and her thumb accidentally hit the repost button. Okay. But your hands were close. You either were gonna like the post or either share the post, but you accidentally repost the post. Long story short, you was engaged and you were checking out something on your algorithm that showed the former first lady falsely accusing her, being something that she's absolutely not, a fake news, disgusting, a smear campaign. That was on your algorithm, Chili. And on top of that, your thumb was very close. Your thumb was probably about to like the post. I've donated money. I've supported the Obamas twice. I supported her. And here's the thing. She can say this right now, but the truth will always be, hey, we will never know the true feeling of how she feels about these candidates, right? The truth, what they do know, because they have receipts that she donated to conservatives and mostly MAGA leaning conservatives and Donald Trump's committee and PACs. She's saying she supports veterans. Who doesn't? There's initiatives where you can directly donate to those veteran organizations. You don't have to do that through political candidates. So what I'm trying to say is I ain't buying jack squat of what she's saying at all. I'm not buying any of that apology. You got to keep folks accountable. And yeah, I'm not paying no mind to that. Now, she has some folks that have been supporting her. Like I think this is Salt from Salt and Pepper. Cheryl James rushed to defend TLC's Rosanda Thomas amid of the conspiracy. So this is what she had to say. Let me read you her comments here. And I think I got this. Okay, good. Y'all can see from here. Okay, so Salt says, Chili, please keep your pretty head all the way up, sister. This world is very quick to believe anything and everything posted on social media. Quick to crucify and slow to forgive. Even when you straighten it out, haters will always hate. We know you in your heart. I truly pray that you didn't shed not one tear or lose not 1 minute of sleep or peace over any of this. We got you, and any threat of not coming to the show from anyone will not stop us from loving on you and supporting you as a person and legacy in music. This is the type of bullying we as a people have to stand up to. Whoever comes to see us, great. Whoever doesn't will miss something special. Powerful sisters come together. Positive vibes only. Continue to let your light shine, queen. Look, very sweet, very thoughtful of what Salt said. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, I will say this, Salt. Folks are going to be entitled on how they feel. I don't think it's bullying if it's actual facts that occur. See, bullying would just flat out just call her out her name, attack her, and just either. That's not bullying. Those are people responding to something that came out to the public that turned out to be accurate. All right. Now look, Chili apologize, move on. You don't need to continue to crucify her. That I will agree with. Salt, you don't have to continue to badger or crucify her and all that other stuff. Let it go. That's her thoughts, that's her political beliefs. Let that be. People have the right to either still attend their show to separate the person from the artist, right? If they love TLC's music, they'll go to see TLC and the rest of the group. If they just want to see In Vogue, they're just going to see In Vogue. If they just want to see Salt and Pepper, they will see Salt and Pepper. If they want to see all three of y'all, they're going to see all three of y'all. Okay? So we can just keep moving from there. But I will say this again before I move on. If Chili is careless like this with her social media, then why do you even have it in the first place? I get it. Public figures, business, it's always great to be involved in social media because we live in a very digital world. We live in a very tech savvy world. Social media is everything. But Chili is already a public figure. She's very popular, right? Does she need a social media? I get it. She does. She has a boyfriend. She's not engaged, but she's dating one of the Lawrence brothers, and they have their podcast and all that other stuff. So they're, doing a lot of social media, this and that and the other. But I still think I'm gonna call BS on some of it. I still am. That's just my honest opinion. If she would like to come here on the show and we can speak about her everything about this, right? So she can really clear her name in a sense, or just really explain herself. I would love to do that. I doubt it that she would want to come on this small program of a show, but hey, she has an open invitation to come on. And this is not no attack back and forth kind of show. It's simply saying, okay, look, you said this, you said that, but at the end of the day, that was on your algorithm. That's all I gotta say. Moving on. Where is my, oh, here we go. So recently, Charles Barkley, former NBA superstar, sports analyst, had shared how he comes from the era of spanking kids. Kids need to be spanked, and that's the kind of discipline that needs to be shared amongst all parents, right? Stephen A. Smith was recently on, what was he on? He was on Real Time with Stephen Colbert. No, not Real Time with Stephen. Real Time with Bill Maher. Wow, Real Time with Stephen Colbert. Real Time with Bill Maher, and he had shared that he's not into that timeout crap. He's like, no, I'm from the era of spanking, butt whooping, and that's where he's from. He's like, I'm a black man. That's where I come from. And I wanted to bring this up to ask you all the question, and this is the parents. How do y'all discipline your kids? Right? What are some of your tools that you use to discipline that has helped in the past for you? Are you pro spanking? Are you anti spanking? If you are a pro spanking, at what age do you start? At what age do you stop? If you are not pro spanking, then what are some of your alternatives of discipline that you see working? The reason why I ask this is because, y'all, we are in a time where there's a lot of parents that want to be their children's friends and not their parents. Meaning, there's going to be times where your kids are going to dislike you. They're not going to hate you. They might say they hate, but they dislike you, but they still love you. They dislike you because your way of disciplining them is trying to help them become a better person through time, through the future, the older they get. I know firsthand a lot of people, or a handful of people, that were most probably not spanked, and parents really didn't discipline them enough, because the older they got, they became more hellion. If that's a easy way, they get in trouble with this, ignoring what their parents tell them to do, all this other. Let me tell you something. I am a product of a spanking. Okay, when I was a kid and I got out of the way with my mother, my grandmother, my dad hit that hand or that behind. Like, I got spanking before, and guess what? My parents did not have to worry about me coming back home with the cops answering, cops behind me or anything like that. They didn't have to worry about me getting in any kind of trouble. Am I perfect? Hell no. Right? I've done things that deserved butt whippings or deserved discipline. But at the end of the day, if they did not start me at a certain age, I would not have that respect factor to the fact that no, my parents are my superiors. I still come from that era where if somebody is of a certain age, I'm still gonna say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. That's where I come from. Or if I address somebody as Mr. or Miss or Mrs., that's me. Respect my elders. The ex we have a period now where so many kids ignore and say "F you, mom," "F you, dad." I'm ignoring you. I mean, seriously, like these little timeouts is trash. Doesn't work. How many times have you seen kids just rebel? I mean, whether in public places too, whether if it's the airports or restaurants or stores, they don't care. They ignore. And I'll be honest, it'll be some parents that I think are just physically drained. It'll be young parents. It'll be just parents and letting their kids do what the hell they want to do. And I'm just like, if this was going to be your way of discipline, like why even prepare? Why even be a parent? And I know that's pretty harsh, but if it's to the point where you just let your kids walk all over you, why even sign up to do the job? And so I bring this up because there are times where we have so many incidences where these young kids are, suspects in school shootings, suspects in, a bank robbery or speeding, reckless driving in neighborhoods, kicking cans over, doing stupid stuff. They're thinking it's funny because they're trying to be cool. But again, it all starts back home. So I end this conversation to say I'm a person that I believe in spanking. And I'm not talking about spanking the show blood. I mean, like if you get a good few times where they don't wanna, and like, what'd you say? What? And sometimes you just need to raise that hand and be like, all right. Like, come on now, come on. You have to put that fear of God into them at a younger age. You have to because see, if you do it when they teenagers, see, I don't know if y'all have caught on to this, but teenagers now, they much bigger than the average teenager how they used to be. I'm looking at freaking 12-year-old boys with size 14 shoes, 6'3", 6'4", and they just 12. Okay, damn near 200 pounds. What is they eating? Why are you taller than me now? Okay, my nephew is a lot bigger than me. He's a senior in college, but still, when he was in high school and middle school, he was getting eye to eye. He was almost my size. I'm like, whoa, this joker. Oh, I'm gonna have to bite this joker. I'm joking. But seriously, he's a lot bigger. And so yeah, I just felt like putting that out there because a lot of folks are like, oh my gosh, how can you spank your children? That's abuse. But guess what? Them same ones that don't spank their kids, them children turn out to be, as I mentioned, hell raisers. Okay, let me digress from this story and move it on to how we looking with time. I enjoy professional wrestling. I think y'all know this about me, but I am a fan of professional wrestling. As a kid, the only action figures that I had was professional wrestling action figures. And the video games I only played was wrestling video games. I was a huge wrestling fan, and I ended up resurfacing, becoming a fan because I have a friend of mine that's a director of operations for a local indie wrestling company out here in Virginia, and I enjoy the atmosphere. I enjoy seeing the up and coming wrestlers, those that are trying to pursue professional careers. I've been to pro matches as well. It's a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun. Anyways, why I bring this up is because a former legend, Shane Douglas, the franchise, who was well known during the ECW era, was on a podcast. And let me tell you something. He did not hold back his comments on how the industry does not take care of their veterans. So he is calling it unforgivable that Kamala, who was known as the Uganda Giant, very well known wrestler during those olden years, and someone who helped elevate the career of Hulk Hogan, the late great Hulk Hogan, Hall of Famer there. Shane Douglas was on a podcast called Going Ringside Podcast. Douglas pointed out that real name is James Kamala, his real name is James Harris, was a key figure in helping elevate Hulk Hogan during the early WWF boom. He said that Harris played a major role in the success to the company's profits from today. Now, he was known as the Uganda Giant, and extremely instrumental in getting Hogan over the beginning, the big monster foe for Hogan to play with, both Saturday Main Event and WrestleMania. He was part of the wheel that made that work, and that's where that they're still making money as of today. Now, James Harris passed away in 2020, and Shane Douglas has said that, at the time of his death, this man had no electricity and no legs. After his wrestling career, he drove trucks, and that was he made a few stints back and forth into wrestling, but it is very sad. Now, one thing I've seen, we see wrestlers that are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, hell, even 80s, still going on roads, wrestling. Wrestling, professional wrestlers, even now, like it's a very strenuous job. They travel almost every day, performing every day. Huge impact on their body, getting injured on a regular, right? It's intense from city to city, state to state, country to country. It's intense. Now, if y'all don't remember, WWE was recently sold to a company for $9.4 billion, to be exact, close to $10 billion. You still have guys like Triple H, Paul Levesque, who's in charge, right? He's the head honcho. You got Shawn Michaels kind of under him, and other folks that work it behind the scenes in the front office. But wrestling has made so much money. With all this money that's being made, why not help your veterans? See, because these veterans are basically independent contractors. When they leave, they don't get paid on a regular. Like, they make their money off of autograph signings, merch, right? That's why they have so many different either Comic-Cons or wrestling expos and stuff. We got all these old wrestlers who can barely walk, by the way, because they've put so much on their body. And again, it's sad. I mean, Ric Flair, and this is a conversation I should have hit up my boy Aaron Phillips, which we will continue this conversation though. But they have a number of professional wrestlers who go broke immediately after they retire. DDP, who has been a champion for a lot of past wrestlers who grew up multi-million-dollar business in the DDP yoga, who's helped at least keep former wrestlers healthy again, right? Because he's, helped out Jake the Snake, Buff Bagwell, Scott Hall before he passed. I mean, a number of professional wrestlers, Lex Luger, a number of professional wrestlers. And I remember at the time when he was helping out Jake the Snake Roberts, it was documented, and Jake was, bad, living in awful conditions, man. I mean, these guys really, they've put their blood, sweat, and tears, and you would think they should get some form of, like, a pension, right? They don't. Let me read some more here. Shane had said after he left wrestling, as I mentioned, he drove semi trucks for years and years. Then with diabetes, he started to lose toes, feet, up to his knees. When that man died, James was living in a house with no electricity, no legs. That is unforgivable for my sport. Unforgivable. He expanded the issue, saying beyond Kamala, arguing that many longtime wrestlers are left without support after decades on the road. He referenced Sabu, noting he was still competing shortly before his death, despite a 40-year career, 40 plus years, right? 40 years. It's ridiculous. And see, if you're not like the sport really shows favoritism to those that make them a lot of money. So you look at guys like Ric Flair, who's a highly marketable individual. Ric Flair, woo, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun, like he's highly marketable. If he's not doing this, he's here doing that. If he's not over there doing that, he's over here doing this. And if he's not over here doing this, then he's over there doing that. Likewise, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan was the same thing. Highly marketable person. You have guys like, say, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, a number of former wrestlers who continue to expand with their name, but still, I would say, should deserve a lot more. Let me continue this article here. It says, after 40 plus years on the road with no offseason, how much money has Sabu made? One thing you cannot say about any wrestlers that on the road for 40 years is that they're lazy. Anybody else in any job, if I worked at a front desk of a hotel, if I was working at a factory somewhere after 40 years, I would have the base of minimum safety net. He then compared wrestling's financial power to other major sports leagues, pointing the industry's massive sale figures. Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, NFL. If they can all afford to do it, don't tell me my industry that just sold 50% higher can't do the same thing. To be fair, a lot of us wouldn't need it, but there are those that do need it. Douglas placed responsibility on those running the business, singling out Vince McMahon, while also noting that the current power players like Endeavors or Tony Khan now share that burden. He also took time to praise Sabu's influence, pushing back on criticism of his in-ring style and calling him a key innovator. I mean, it's the truth, though. It's the truth. I've seen countless and countless of folks that I'm like, wow, how are you not like a millionaire by now? All this money, because especially like the money that they're making now from wrestlers. I mean, these wrestlers are getting paid just as professional athletes because they are professional athletes. Performing in Dubai, performing in Paris, performing in football arenas. I mean, they're killing it right now. They are killing it. But it is a shame. I mean, what's your thoughts on this? This is to my wrestling fans out there. Do you think that professional wrestling companies, like WWE, like AEW, is abuse of power? Like they don't fully look out for their veterans? Do you think there should be like a big pot where they can, like should veterans have like some form of like a 401k, or the amount of years that they put in WWE, they should receive that, in return with with their, especially if they're still making money off their name, right? With merch and all that other stuff. I don't know, man. I feel or offer them a position like some of them other ones do. Once they retire, they go on to working behind the scenes as a producer or a like a talent booker or something like that. It's a lot. And I've seen people on a smaller scale do the same thing. Got to go from town to town, city to city, state to state, and it's not easy at all. It's not an easy job at all. But when I read about this, I'm like, Shane Douglas always bringing some facts now. He brings some clear facts to the story here. All right, next up, y'all. This is really what I want to discuss here. Is I asked you all the question before: should local elected officials receive raises? Should they receive pay increases. Now, I feel like most of y'all will say, hell no, I'm not giving more money to a politician. They're already probably making money under the table and they already have money to begin with. Hey, make a fair point. But I bring this up is because here in my home city of Chesapeake, there was a recent proposal that was unanimously denied by a council on doubling their salaries. Now, friend of the show, dear friend of mine, City Councilman Les Smith proposed the salaries not once but twice. Okay, and when they show the increase, so currently, mayor earns just over $27,000, while council members make about 25,000 a year. Okay, the proposal ordinance would have the proposed ordinance. Let me say that one more time. The proposed ordinance would have more than doubled that, raising the mayor's salary up to 51,000 and council members to 47,000 a year. I see both sides on this. Now, I'll be frank. I'm for pay increases for elected officials, but not to this huge jump. I would say a gradual increase, whether if it's like, okay, after every 4 years there's a $1,000 increase, or after every 2 years there's a increase. Because see, when you in your everyday 9 to 5 job, you normally ask your employer after the first year, hey, do I receive a pay increase? After the first year, you usually see, like, whether if it's a few cents more, a dollar more, you ask for a slight increase. Now, when you are an elected official, Chesapeake residents are like held to know, and residents in general, because here's the thing: the higher their salaries are, the more money that comes out of taxpayer dollars. So, because residents, council members are employees of the people. I am their boss as a resident. If they increase in that, then that's an increase in taxes. Now, increase in taxes, okay, y'all increasing taxes and making it more expensive to live here. But what have you done for us lately? And that's what was repeated by a lot of the constituents during that council meeting, is the fact that, okay, we have issues. For example, y'all, Chesapeake is still at large. Majority of the cities in the 7 cities, I think Chesapeake, we're one of 2 cities that are still at large, meaning we have a council, instead of each member representing a certain area or a district or a ward in Chesapeake, they represent the full city. All right. Majority of residents would like to see a district system because there's neighborhoods, there's communities and neighborhoods that feel overlooked, right? We have council members that majority of them live in the same area, and it's mostly the nicer side of Chesapeake. And then you have folks that live in folks that live in more of like the underprivileged areas. They're like, hey, look, you forget about us. We still need this. We still need that. We still need that. We still like, what's up? We need a single member. So that's why for years they've been fighting for some form of a single member like district or ward system. Also, you look at the issues happening in the city. Residents speak their mind saying, look, I've called, years ago, months ago, this and that, about this and that, and it still hasn't been done. So you're asking for a raise, but y'all haven't made any progress. And they absolutely right. They make a perfectly good point. Another gentleman said, this has been brought up not once but twice by the same member, by the same member in council, a member who, after his first 8 months, now is asking for a raise. Then after the first 15 months, they come back and ask for it again. Yes, your average job, you don't get a raise after 8 months. You don't. You, as I mentioned, after a year or even after 2 years, you might see some kind of increase. But let me speak to those who were in favor. Okay, so there were some that said, I believe that they do deserve a pay increase, because even though people don't realize, the job is a full-time job. It's a service position. It's a part-time job, but it's also a full-time at the same time. It requires a lot of hours. It requires a lot of it requires a lot of hours, and a lot of just of using their time when it comes to, hey, look, they got this, they got to go to that event, that event, town halls, keeping transparency amongst people. It is a lot. It is a lot, especially when you're even running for office. It's a lot, knocking on doors every in all the neighborhoods. Like, it's a very demanding job. That's what I was trying to. It's a very demanding job. Also, another person said it would improve the diversity on council, meaning politicians normally are people that come from money, or either they're retired and already have money, or they come from money. Because remember, it takes money to run a campaign. You need money to run a campaign. I've seen local races that hit up almost close to $1 million. Local races, you hear me? Local. It's expensive to run, to run a campaign. It's a lot of demand, again, demanding hours. You have to put the time in, making sure you do this, that. It's a lot. It demands a lot and requires a lot. So when that was said, I'm like, okay, they bring some valid points, right? Strenuous job, diversity up there, so you can, if somebody that is qualified to be, and not even just qualified, but can actually make a difference, they would have to make a huge financial commitment by running for office. Because I know a lot of people that will make great elected officials, but hey, some of them are like, look, I work here, I'll have to give up my position. I can't just leave when I can and do this and do that. It's a lot. And so I hear them, and they make perfect points. But again, let's think about our current state right now. Right now, gas prices are high than a mother effer. Okay, they are extremely high, and on top of that, they are hold on. They are, what was that? I don't lost my train of thought. In regards to being an elected official and all of what that job requires, it does take a lot, and it requires a lot. Our current state right now, right? Society, everything is extremely expensive. Grocery prices, gas prices, and that's what Councilman Les Smith has stated. I was not predicting that we were going to be in a war, and he brought that up because to share, hey, gas prices are up at this price, grocery price, everything is up right now because we're in war. But I will have to push back on that statement, because at the end of the day, issues that have not been met from council to the people, that was way before the war had started. So I wouldn't use the war as as an excuse. I wouldn't use that as a reason. Don't get me wrong, it has affected folks' pockets, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't want to think that's the only reason. I wouldn't bring that up as a reason to say, hey, look, when this was proposed, we weren't in a war. When now it's we're in the war, and I get it. We have to circle back on it, but at the end of the day, everything has a time and a place for it. But when it comes to pay raises on local elected officials, I don't think it will ever be a right time to ask for raises. Some of the members on council has shared that, hey, look, this is a service position. You get what you signed up for. You knew what this position entailed once you put your name in the race to run for office. You knew that this was the salaries, you knew that what it was. You knew. Folks, local politics is not a full-time position, but here's another thing I got to also share. I think this is an ongoing conversation because we always hear stories of bribery. Not accusing anybody on our Chesapeake City Council of that, but I'm just saying in general, like you hear stories of elected officials getting in trouble because, they've accepted these bribes and this and that and the other. And it's like, well, why do you do that? You're greedy. Look, there's folks that might not have the funds. There's folks that are, there's folks that might not have the funds, and there's folks that are, there's folks that have the money that's like, hey, look, just donate my money to a charity or this and that and the other. But it's always going to be a touchy subject. It's always going to be a touchy subject. Me personally, it would be tough to kind of for a newly elected council member, now people are going to remember that. And Councilman Smith even mentioned that, hey, look, I was told from a colleague that this could ruin my political career. It could. He still is in his first term. We will see how, and this is not just happening in Chesapeake. I know Virginia Beach also had spoken about pay increases. It's a lot. It's a lot. I think just at the end of the day, a gradual, I will forever be, I'm on the side of an increase, but gradual increase, not a huge double, increase, not from 27,000 to 51,000. That's insane. Gradual, but not that, not a huge jump. And it will be a while before we see an increase like that until this, economy is great. Again, Chesapeake has a lot of work they have to do. I would just say that they have a lot of work they have to do. And until the citizens are satisfied, then they might say, look, I think, you brought us this, you brought us that. I think it's time for y'all to have an increase in pay, but residents will never be satisfied. Voters will never be satisfied because there's so many issues. I mentioned, communities feeling overlooked, property value continue to increase. People are moving out of the city of Chesapeake because it's like saying, I cannot afford to live here anymore. It's a shame, but that's how politics is. I'm looking at my time. Ladies and gents, I truly appreciate y'all sticking with us here on the Arrington Gavin Show. I guess my final question that I would leave is, again, should local elected officials receive pay increases? What's your take on pay increases? Do they deserve it? Do they not deserve it? Even though it's a service position, but it does demand and require a lot. Shouldn't they get something for their? And I mean, look, 27,000. That's, come on, that's not a livable wage. Should they at least get paid a livable wage? Let me know what your thoughts are. All you have to do is go to our website, www.theagshow.com. You can send us an email through there. You can also DM me by going on the Arrington Gavin Show on Instagram. You can keep us in contact from there. And look, we'll get back with you and might even answer those questions on the show. So as always, ladies and gents, stay safe out there, stay blessed, stay informed. I will talk to you.
That's it for tonight on the Arrington Gavin Show. Thanks for tapping in and keeping the conversation alive. Don't forget, stay connected with us on all platforms. Follow at Arrington Gavin on Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, and subscribe to the official Substack for exclusive takes and deep dives you won't get anywhere else. We're here every weeknight, same time, same energy, same real talk. Until next time, stay bold, stay sharp, and stay true. That's what we do on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace.